the new Matrix movie could feature young Morpheus. The Matrix reboot is reportedly not going to be a remake of the original film, rather, it will expand on the Matrix universe. Screenwriter Zach Penn, who was reportedly involved in the project, recently took to Twitter to shut down the rumors. "All I can say at this point is no one could or should reboot The Matrix," he wrote. "People who know Animatrix and the comics understand. Can't comment yet except to say that the words reboot and remake were from an article. Let's stop responding to inaccurate news. If I were going to recast Keanu Reeves, I would cast Keanu Reeves. Do I want to see more stories set in the universe of The Matrix? Yes. Because it's a brilliant idea that generates great stories. WB is not interested in rebooting The Matrix, but rather in exploring expanded universe concepts," Birth.Movies.Death reported. And according to 2 independent sources we've spoken with, one idea that's gained a lot of support is a prequel film starring Michael B. Jordan as a young Morpheus. "Our understanding is that a Morpheus film has long been a concept favored by the folks at Warner Brothers. The studio has established writer's room, a surefire sign that WB is gunning for multiple films/franchises, and our further understanding is that this Morpheus idea is one of several being kicked around." Drake's latest project, More Life, is now streaming everywhere. After months of delays, Drake has finally released his long-awaited project, More Life. Although the 22-track project premiered on OVO Sound Radio, Drake's Beats One show, More Life will not be an Apple Music exclusive, as the project will be served to every major streaming service, including Spotify, and is available to purchase on iTunes. This is the first project from Drake since 2015 that won't be locked down to Apple Music for some period of time, but his relationship with the company is still intact. Calling More Life the playlist instead of a mixtape was a collaboration between Drake and Apple Music's team, and it as expected their relationship and Drake dropping exclusive content on the service will continue. With More Life, Drake a good chance to push the weekly streaming record he already owns to new heights. His last album, Views, was streamed over 250 million times in its first week on Apple Music. With More Life getting prominent placement on Spotify, Tidal, and Google Play Music just to name a few services, there is a strong chance More Life will push the single-week streaming record out of reach for months to come. Size matters in first half for Purdue against Iowa State. Purdue faced a tough challenge in its first-round game against Vermont but emerged victorious. Iowa State poses an even bigger threat to the Boilermakers, but thus far, the Midwest's number 4 seed is handling its business. The Boilermakers are using their size to frustrate the Cyclones. Purdue leads 44-31 at halftime, with the trio of big men, Vince Edwards, Caleb Swanigan and Isaac Haas, combining for 28 points on 12 of 20 shooting. The Boilermakers also have the advantage on the glass, outrebounding Iowa State 19-12. Guard Matt Thomas leads the Cyclones with 12 points. Iowa State is in danger of letting this one get away as it attempts to get to a third Sweet 16 in the past 4 seasons. Florida clamps down and topples Virginia, 65-39. For a team that puts so much energy and effort into defense, Florida's performance against Virginia was as close to perfect as possible. Devin Robinson had 14 points and 11 rebounds, the 5th double-double of his career, and the 4th-seeded Gators handled the number 5-seeded Cavaliers, 65-39, on Saturday night in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Justin Leon added 14 points and 10 rebounds for the Gators, 26-8, who advanced to the Sweet 16 for the 11th time in school history and 5th in the last 7 years. They will play number 8-seeded Wisconsin in the East Regional Semi-Finals in New York City on Friday. They can thank stingy defense and a ridiculous run spanning halftime for this trip to Madison Square Garden. Gennady Golovkin vs. Daniel Jacobs predictions, fight card, time, odds, pick. After years of fighting any middleweight who was willing, while stockpiling impressive streaks of knockouts and title defenses in the process, unified champion Gennady Golovkin enters a dangerous challenge against Daniel Jacobs. The pair of hard-punching middleweights will headline Saturday's HBO PPV card, 9 p.m. ET, from Madison Square Garden in New York, where Golovkin, a native of Kazakhstan, has built a boisterous following thanks to 4 knockout victories inside the world's most famous arena. Golovkin will look for his 24th consecutive knockout against Jacobs, a secondary titleist from the same Brownsville section of Brooklyn, New York, that has produced so many great fighters. Jacobs, to return to boxing in 2012 after beating a rare form of bone cancer, is 10-0 with 10 KOs since coming back. GGG will also aim for his 18th straight title defense, which would move him too shy of Bernard Hopkins' middleweight record. Golovkin vs. Jacobs prediction. This is the biggest fight in Jacobs' career and one he could have easily avoided thanks to boxing's political divide. Instead, he sought the fight out, and one has to expect, unlike other Golovkin opponents who cowered at the first taste of GGG's power, that Jacobs will be motivated to win at all costs. Ultimately, that will also prove to be his downfall. In order for Jacobs to have success and gain Golovkin's respect early, he's going to have to consistently put himself in heavy danger. Unless his strategy is to avoid contact and run during the first half of the fight in hopes of dragging Golovkin into deep waters, Jacobs will need to fight sooner than later. In this case, although he has the power to hurt Golovkin, he's ultimately outgunned in terms of technique and punch resistance. Look for Golovkin to finish the fight with a clean knockout, as a courageous Jacobs is unable to beat the count.